Hello, 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 sellers. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay. Come on in and get settled. I don't know about where you are. It is blistering hot today. I think my husband told me it's actually over 100 degrees. I am inside. I am sipping my peppermint tea, which is what I tend to sip in the afternoon. Actually, let me take a swig. I got out early this morning to run errands, and I'm blessed. My husband's doing the mail today, which frees me up for more time, like live streaming with you. So come on in, come on in. And what I'm going to be covering today is this mistake stops so many eBay sellers, and I don't want it to be you. So don't let this mistake stop you, okay? And I'll be detailing it. It's a mistake that I see newer sellers make, but also when I see more experienced sellers make. And sometimes you make it without even realizing it, just because it's become a habit or a lifestyle for you as a seller. And if you're selling for a while, and I've been selling for over 15 years, you can pick up habits without even realizing it. And for my newer sellers, you may be listening to things and absorbing information that's really not correct. So just to let you know. So be careful who you're listening to. Just because somebody has a lot of views or a lot of followers doesn't necessarily mean that their information is accurate. So just keep that in mind. So when you're listening to things, sort of let it resonate in you. Does this feel truthful? Does this feel true? Does this feel accurate? Because again, sometimes people are saying things not necessarily intentionally misleading you, but they're going for the negative side of it rather than they're looking at the negative side of it rather than looking at, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this part of eBay selling? Okay. So don't let this mistake stop you. And the biggest one I see with sellers, in the groups that I run, also with my private clients, is fear. We're scared. And I was actually thinking about it, because eBay opens coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be great to see everybody, is, when you're new, but even when you're more experienced, but particularly when you're new, you're scared. And I'll see it in the Facebook group that I run. And I actually remember seeing somebody post, they had been in the group for over a year, and they haven't even listed one thing. And it was because of fear, because of people that they're listening to about some of the challenges you might run into as a seller. I don't mean to laugh, because there are challenges we run into as a seller, but they're not daily. I mean, you don't deal with difficult shoppers typically daily. But yeah, you are going to run into some difficult shoppers. You are going to have shipping things go awry. But it's not a daily circumstance. It's not a regular circumstance. Otherwise, we all wouldn't be selling, and we wouldn't be prospering us. And a lot of us are doing very, very well selling on eBay. In fact, hundreds of thousands of sellers are doing very, very well selling on eBay, which is why eBay's around so long, coming up on its 30th anniversary. For online retailers, 30 years is long. I mean, it's really long. eBay's around longer than Amazon. Did you know that? I mean, Amazon started as selling used books. eBay started completely on auctions, if you don't realize that. I mean, now the majority of stuff is fixed price. So don't let something scare you, my new sellers. You'll be okay. And I've got some tips for you on listing, so hang in there. And also take a look at my YouTube channel. And those of you that watch me live on my Facebook business page, thank you. And those of you that watch me, Kathy Terrill, I love to be selling on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And do hit subscribe. And my YouTube people, thank you for downloading. My podcast people, thank you for downloading my podcast. Kathy Terrill, I love to be selling. I appreciate it. And I got some really nice messages from podcast people recently. So thank you, podcast people. Don't let fear stop you. There's different things we'll be scared of. For newer sellers, it's fear of listing. And again, I will give you some tips on that. And also look at my channel, look at my podcast. You'll see a lot of stuff in there to help you. For my more experienced sellers, I find where we're running into fear is when eBay changes something. So when there's a policy change that rolls out on eBay, the fear is, how is this going to impact me? Like, how am I going to deal with this? How is this going to impact my sales, my profits? And the truth is, you don't know. I mean, you just don't know. Again, people will put out media and YouTube and social media, and a lot of times they'll just try to scare everybody. But the truth is, if a big policy change rolls out or anything, for instance, like USPS, when the rates go up, some people are going to raise their prices to compensate. Other people have big enough margins or profits that they're making that they can absorb it. It's going to be individual. And then you go and you look at what the increase is. And if it's like 30 cents, 40 cents, typically you can absorb it. And if it's going to be more than that, then you take a look at if you're going to want to increase your prices. The good thing with eBay is we've got bulk edit. If you don't know this, you can bulk edit your prices. And so you can bulk edit it up by a dollar amount, by a percentage amount. You can also bulk edit down. Okay. So if you choose to do that, it's readily available and it's not too much work. You can do that. Again, for my more experienced sellers, the fear can be, besides eBay policy changes, is that you're going into a new category. I'm actually returning to a category that I was in. I'm going back and sourcing some more fitness stuff that I was in years ago. I did a ton of fitness really, really well. The thing with sourcing fitness is it's very, very trendy. So you got to really, really, really watch fitness trends, and that you watch on social media and blogs. It can be very, very trendy. And you watch the prices. So, and this can happen, by the way, in a lot of different categories. And I'm going to show you one in product research. But let's say the price is $50, $60, $70 on the item. And then all of a sudden it drops because other people are discovering it too. And with fitness, it can also be because of what's on trend. So like on a website, like this is on trend on this website. You see it on the website, and on the website, it's going for $150, and you're able to source it either, locally, you hit pay dirt, and at some thrift store, somebody was donating a bunch of this product, and you were able to get it. Or another source, like you might have a consignment where you might have a client that had a bunch of whatever it is, like leggings of a certain brand. So you're able to source it, you're able to list it. Is the price wasn't what it was, let's say 2 years ago or a year ago, but it's still good. So maybe it was 80 and you might have dropped out. Other sellers might have dropped out because you were sourcing it, let's say for 15, 20, you know what I mean? So it was a good markup, but it's gone down to 50. So if it's selling for 50 and you can source it, and again, everybody's profit margins are going to be different, and you're able to source it for 5, 10, 15, it can still be viable for you. So just take a look at that. If there's categories that you used to sell in, my experienced sellers, because again, remember COVID, the prices on things went crazy on some things, like puzzles. Everybody was selling out of puzzles. And then it changes dramatically after COVID. And that can happen in other categories too. So post-COVID, you might have been getting a certain price and you went, enough of that. Like I'm not making what I used to make, so I'm going to walk away from that. But you return to it now and you have a source for it, or you have various sources for it. So, okay, you can't make that 40% margin you were used to, but you can do 30 or 20 and you look at, the category. I'm going to pick fitness. So the keywords, and of course you're going to double check them, make sure they're still relevant. You know it really well. You might know the sizing of it or the colors that are popular. Again, you're going to check and make sure that's still true. But you already have a lot of knowledge on that brand or style. This could be true for like sporting goods. I'm thinking like skiing, tennis, golf. I've got a friend who's like killing it in golf. So again, there's always the things that are on trend, like because this pro is using it or it's featured at a tournament. But there's things that'll be related to that that'll do very, very well. Okay. So keep an eye on that, where something worked really well for you maybe a couple of years ago or even pre-COVID, and you let it go because it changed or maybe it got harder to source. I used to have, there was one thrift store near me that always had a lot of really good golf accessories. So it wasn't great on golf clubs. And for me, if you don't know, I'm a 2-flight walk-up, so golf clubs are not the greatest thing to source, just as far as size and weight. But a lot of things like coasters and mugs and hats and visors and golf club covers. And it was like in abundance for like 6 months, a year, and then nothing. But when I go to this store, which I don't go to all the time, but I go like maybe once every couple of months, I do look for it because it had an abundance of that, and I keep an eye out at other places. So that can happen too, where all of a sudden a source just vanishes and you're not able to replace it. So fear that I'm going to make a mistake, and you might, but you'll learn from it, you'll grow, and you'll be okay. Fear because you're going into a category you're not familiar with, but you'll do the research, you'll learn. And fear you're returning to a category. It's like, okay, I'm going to go back to that. It seems to be doing okay, and you know, I mean, let me dip my toe in the water. And what I encourage you to do is, if you're going into a category, returning to a category, trying something new, you know, invest, you know, 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever, you know, is manageable for you, and then stop. List it and see how the sales go. Now, if your research really tells you, and this is more from my experienced sellers, that this really, you're going to be fine. If it's a limited source, like I remember I had these great shirts. They were plus size, major brand, new with tags. And my preliminary research told me I would do fine with this. I bought them all because I know with this store, if I had hesitated, like even gone back 1 or 2 hours later, it would have been all gone. So that I went all in and grabbed them all. I think it was like 50, 60 of them. And I just grabbed them all. I always have like a giant IKEA bag with me, throw it in the IKEA bag. And that was my haul, and took that home. So don't let fear stop you. Do your research. Be willing to take risks. You know you're going to make mistakes. That's okay. You're going to learn and grow for them. But limit, like especially if something's new for my newer sellers. If something's new, only invest a certain amount in that. Like don't go all in, because you don't want to get yourself in trouble financially. Okay. And really take a look at your pricing, because there can be trends. Like for instance, and I wanted to pull this up. One of my favorite categories, a lot of people know, LL Bean flannel shirts, because that happens to be a favorite of my husband. So I was looking at them. I was like, let me take a look at LL Bean. Well-known brand, very popular, real classic. A lot of different age groups like it. So let me just show you this, and we will pull up LL Bean. Okay, let's make LL Bean bigger. So if you don't know this, and you can get this on your app as well as on desktop, is I'm going to show you desktop, and then I'll explain to you where it is on the app. On desktop, if you go to the tabs at the top, okay, overview, orders, listing, marketing, advertising, store, performance, payments, research. Okay, research is the rebranding of Terapeak, and we're doing product research. And just type in whatever you're looking at, and I'm going to tell you how to find it. So I did LL Bean flannel shirts, and when you start typing it in, it's going to show you like it's in men's clothing and also women's clothing. And I was looking particularly for men's, but if you want to look at women's, you look up women's. Okay. And I want to make sure it's showing here. Does it? Yep. Okay, good. So last 2 years, and listen, you can just for you to show you last 30 days, last 90 days, last year. I just did 2 years. Okay. Very, very general. Okay. There's a ton of filters here. You can filter on condition. You can filter on format, which is how it was listed. Auction, best offer, fixed price. Okay. You can filter on price, whether it's a top rated seller. Okay. This is LL Bean flannel shirts last 2 years. And look at me. See this toggle thing? Show sales trends. You want that because you want to see if there's any up and down. If you do not toggle sales trends, watch me. That pretty graph goes away. I don't know about you. I love graphs. So toggle on sales trends. Look at this. It's very up and down, which you would think with flannel, right? So look at this. And this is 2 years because I wanted to go through winter. So look at this. September, like wowsy. Okay. This is October. Then for some reason we drop in November. I don't know, Thanksgiving. It's like you either have your flannel shirt or you don't. And then all of a sudden up. And then January, you have another spike. So look at this. Really gets interested in August, maybe some back to school. The kids are going to colder climates, or I'm traveling to a colder climate. Okay. So notice spiking. And sales trends what this is. Look at this. Its average price, look at this, goes up, going up to 30. Otherwise, normally it's around 22, so about $8 more. And again, you're going to go in here and have to filter by colors and size because that's certainly going to impact. Look at this, 32 in January. And then, man, March, drop, which makes sense, right? April, drop. Look at this, May, June, flatline, June, August. And then all of a sudden here in the fall, it starts to pick up. The reason I bring this, oh, and let me just show you how to find this on the, hi, Vicki, good to see you. On the phone, on the app, and I have an iPhone. So you go to eBay and you go to my eBay. Underneath selling, it says list an item overview. You're going to tap overview and then you're going to tap research. You're going to type in what you're looking for. So LL Bean, and I'm going to do men's flannel, but you're going to type in whatever, flannel shirt. And again, it shows me men, blah, blah, great. And again, it will show its average sold price. You can do 6 months, whatever. We're going to do 2 years. So it's exactly what this is. And the thing is, the show trend details, it will give you a graph. The one on the desktop, I find, is easier to read. So you'll get a really good idea off your phone. And then I do encourage you, especially if you see a big variance like this, is to hop on desktop, laptop, and take a look at it. And the other thing I want to show you, and this is from a good staff friend of mine. See this arrow to the right of this lovely graph? Click it. Look at this. It's another view of the sales, and a lot of people don't know about this. So the blue is total sold, and look at the huge difference. Again, October, a lot. February, a lot. And it has a trend line. That's what this is. So again, just showing a little bit down here. So again, selling well, because look at these prices, but does trend down just a little bit, just to keep you in mind. But look at both graphs. Both graphs are only available on the desktop. They are well worth looking at. So again, things that will stop us as sellers, whether we are new, or more experienced. And the number one thing that will stop us is fear for many of us. I know I get scared sometimes. I'm sure you do too, especially when we're going into new categories. I have tips to help you navigate some slower sales in the summer. It can also help you navigate as far as fears and sourcing new items. So hop over to my website, I Love to Be Selling, and grab this free guide, Top 10 Tips to Ignite Your eBay Summer Sales. So again, fear is very normal. You're not alone, but watch who you listen to. Watch the information that you take in, because some people will talk you out of listing anything. And the way we learn is by listing, okay? And you will do fine. So list it. For my more experienced sellers going into those new categories or returning to categories, I encourage you to look back at things that sold for you a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the categories, and take a look at them and see what they're doing now. Because sometimes what can happen is they will die, they will flatline. Like you look at the product research thing, all of a sudden, like, boom, it just drops. But then all of a sudden, a year, 2 years later, it starts creeping back up again. There's a renewed interest in that category or that style. Okay. So don't say no to things. You can say no, and then go back and look at it a couple years later, especially if you discover a honey hole. It's like, oh, I could get quite a few of these at a good price. Let me see if all of a sudden they're starting to sell now, because maybe they just flatlined for a period and now they are selling again. Okay. Always take a look at product research. You can do that on your phone. You can do that on the desktop. But again, the desktop has more detailed graphs, and graphs that I find easier to read. And you get 2 of them, so you can see any kind of trends going on. Because listen to me, something is selling every minute of every day on eBay. It's a matter of sourcing it and listing it in a manner that's going to attract your buyers and get it sold. And sometimes it's adjusting that price. And again, that's why product research is so helpful. Like with the LL Bean flannel shirts, we're still in demand, but the price is a little softer, so maybe dropping that price a little bit. Like me with going back and taking a look at some fitness things, which had flatlined and died, but all of a sudden now seems to have renewed interest. So looking around and sourcing some of that. There's always things to learn on eBay. It's a matter of, you listen, you take information in, but remember, you got to list it. If it's not listed, it won't sell. And enjoy the top 10 tips to ignite your eBay summer sales on my website. It will help you to increase your sales all summer long. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay. Bye-bye, sellers. Thanks so much for joining me.